So I had to pause the video because yeah. Anyway, I was talking about Lara versus Vaynes, and I think I said last thing was Vaynes. I didn't like him going into the fight. Um, so Lara, I didn't like Lara either. And what got me not liking Lara is because I'm the kind of guy that unreasonably does not like people. It's fucked up. I know. I've I've made a lot of enemies because of that habit. So I don't know. Fuck them. You know. Fuck you if you don't fucking like me. But anyway, Lara versus Vaynes. It was basically like, all right, who's gonna win this one? Whoever wins this one, I'm going to like dislike less, I guess. And I didn't know who was gonna win this one just because they were both. Well, Vaynes was undefeated, and Lara had Paul Williams as a loss, and I think he hadn't fought Canelo yet, so he didn't have Canelo as a loss yet. So Lara had at least one loss under his belt going into that fight. Um, so the first fight, right? The first fight happens, and it's Lara winning the rounds in a boring manner because he's just a really good amateur fighter. He's a more boring fighter than Mayweather is, if that's hard to imagine. But I love Mayweather anyway. Um, so eventually, in like round five, I think it was, they hit heads. It's what happens when you have an orthodox fighting a southpaw. So they had a cut. Both of them had cuts, but Vayne's eye was literally like the cut was bigger than his whole eye could open. It was crazy. So they had to stop the fight. They just had to. So the fight was like no con. It was I believe it was a draw. Believe it or not, because it went to the scorecards, but I think they had a draw. So the fight was a draw. Right. So years later, they meet for a rematch, which was the other night, Saturday. So now I'm thinking to myself, oh god, like I'm actually pretty interested in this fight. And now I go into the fight still not liking Vaynes, but I saw him get interviewed, and I thought like the reason as to why he feels like he's gonna win was a good reason. He said, "I just don't like the guy, and he's a dirty fighter, and I'm here to give it my all and prove to everybody why I deserve to win." And he didn't sound cocky or anything like that, so I just kind of got that feeling from him because I go by my feelings, my instincts, right? It's funny. I think I have a sixth sense. But then they interviewed Lara, but Lara had some good answers too. They asked him, "Well, how do you feel about him calling you a dirty fighter?" And he said in Spanish, "Él es un pendejo," which pendejo is like calling him a fucking idiot. And people laughed, but they didn't really translate it in English because they're not allowed to. And so I was like going into the fight laughing and thinking to myself, this is gonna be good. But I had to choose like who would win this one because it's my Showtime streak. If I get 40 of these in a row correct, I get to go to Las Vegas and see any championship fight I want. Right? It's crazy. It's good for me. And so far, I've done two fights already, and I've gotten them both right, but they were kind of easy. It was the one with Charles Martin when he beat the guy for the title belt. I don't know. Charles Martin just looked like the better choice for me. I didn't even know the both of them when they fought, but Charles, why not? And the other guy was some other guy, but but yeah, I chose Lara. I chose Lara. He's a Cuban fighter. In my opinion, he did really good against Canelo. If I thought he tied if he didn't beat him. I didn't see most of the fight. I'm lying. I fell asleep like as soon as the fight started. I was so pissed. But I got to see Canelo get announced as the winner. But I heard it was controversial, and I read about it, so I knew that he was good enough to get a controversial loss over Canelo. He beat Trout, knocked him down, right? I don't know if you guys seen the fight, but he knocked Trout down. And knowing that, I'll tell you guys in a bit why I chose Charlo over Trout. But so the fights start, right? So you got Charlo versus John Jackson. John Jackson, yeah. Um, Charlo. He goes into the fight. I think they were saying like they expected John Jackson to go in there and just throwing bombs, like just throwing haymakers left and right. But they were surprised that he didn't. That he started doing more technique, and his technique was pretty good. He was kind of like he was kind of like taking Charlo to school almost because Charlo wasn't hitting anything. He was losing most of the rounds. I think he out of like they went into like the 10th round. I think like ninth or 10th, and uh, John Jackson was winning most of them, like 8 rounds to 2. And suddenly, I think Charlo landed like this weird punch. He landed like this weird punch. I forget if it was like a right hand, but he hit John Jackson on the face, and then John Jackson turned around, which you're never allowed to, you're not supposed to at all. He turned around, like gave Charlo his back and touched his face as if to say like I have something in my eye. So Charlo, and I don't blame him, but Charlo went in there and like went in for the kill, and he got him with a hook, knocked him down, he kept hitting him while his head was through the ropes until the referee just stopped the fight. And then John Jackson was like, "Dude, what the fuck? Like, why aren't you disqualifying him?" Almost, but I was happy because I chose Charlo to win, and I'm like stoked. I was like, yes, right? So now my streak is 3-0. So I only need 37 to go until I get to go to Las Vegas. So fucking wish me luck, dude. Right. So now the next that Charlo brother won the title now, and the other Charlo brother was kind of nervous before the fight because he was watching his brother fight on TV. So I'm thinking to myself, oh god, he's going into the fight nervous. Like he better not go into the fight nervous. But he did because I don't know, his brother was losing the fight, but then he won, so obviously he was happy about that. But now he had to concentrate on his own fight, especially against Austin Trout. And even though Austin lost against Lara and Canelo, he was still like a threat. Still a threat, yeah. Experience, you know. When you lose to very experienced guys, you get something out of it. So I still had Charlo over him though. Going into the fight, they square off. It's back and forth until in the middle rounds, all of a sudden, Charlo starts taking more of the rounds. He starts kind of hitting Trout with more power shots, and I'm like, yes, keep it up. Don't get hit with anything bad. And to my surprise, Charlo has a pretty good chin. He got hit by some really heavy shots, but didn't even look hurt. So good for Charlo, but most of all, good for me because I got my 4th streak win. So far, so good, right? He won a belt as well. But poor Trout. Trout's only been he was champion, so you can't take that away from him. He still gets to call himself champ because he was one at some point. Till he lost it to, I think it was Canelo. Yeah, he lost it to Canelo. Sorry, my jaw is fucked up. So now the 3rd fight happens, right? And I'm so much more confident that Lara's gonna win this one than I was about the other 2. Obviously, because I know Lara and I know Veins. The thing about Lara is that he's so disciplined that he's not gonna make a stupid mistake, which is what causes a lot of the guys who are supposed to win to lose, right? And that's what I get out of Lara, is that you can really depend on him. He shouldn't have lost to Canelo. I think he should have gotten the draw at least. But whatever. So now I have Lara winning this, right? So the fight starts and I'm paying real good attention. And I see Veins kind of like bull rushing, like really hammer body shots on Lara, which he said he was going to do. So Lara's taking some body shots. They're not hurting him, but you don't want to take him the whole fight because at some point you're just really gonna hate him, and you're not gonna you're gonna they do kind of get you tired. From experience myself, you know, you kind of like drop your elbows more and leave your chin. You do, not kind of. You will drop your elbows more and leave your chin more open to damage. So that's the only thing I was worried about. But he took him really well. And Lara, after the first round, first round I think went to Veins because the guy wanted to like brawl with him. So you gotta give the round to the guy who does more work. But second to 12th round, Lara was just controlling the pace completely. Lara's footwork is great. His accuracy is great. His technique is just great. Footwork, I think I said footwork, but just everything about him as a boxer is great. As a fighter, he's a smart fighter. As a boxer, he's great. It's hit and don't get hit. As a fighter, you're supposed to hurt your guy. I mean, eventually the knockout will come, and that was proof when he fought Austin Trout. People were like bored. They were booing Lara and Trout because there was barely any action. But in like the 11th round, Lara hit Trout and Trout did the funky chicken dance. And I went crazy. I was like, yes! You know, like, fuck you. Okay, I knew that was going to happen. Because I never boo a fight, no matter how boring it is. Unless I know the two of them are bums. And I don't like calling fighters bums. I really don't. But there's just some people, man. Like, that you can really dislike. Like, Victor Ortiz. I don't like Victor Ortiz just because how fake he is. Waste of your money if you go pay for a Victor Ortiz fight. Another bum. Another bum. Trying to think of another bum off the top of my head. I would have said no. Andre Berta was never really a bum. He's always been pretty disciplined. Jesus, who would another bum be? I'll tell you, I really don't like Oscar, and I'm one of the many people that call him a bum. And there's a lot of people who would want to kill me for saying that. Anyway, those are the two bums in my opinion. Yeah, so I don't know why I was talking about bums. But yeah. Lara knocked down Trout, and I knew that was gonna come. He won by decision unanimously, and then and that's why I thought Lara was gonna just school Veins. Both are Olympic fighters. Veins lost to the Cubans in the Olympics. I mean, you got one of the best Cubans right in front of you. So like, yo, you go into a fight against a Cuban just expecting to give it your all. I mean, Sugar Ray Leonard, he won the Olympics having like the toughest fight against a Cuban. He won via decision, but it was just right before he like hit the Cuban so good that he technically TKO'd him right after the bell rung. So yeah, but that Cuban was wicked tough. He was like knocking everybody out with his left hand, southpaw guy. But Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray. What's his name? Yuriorkis Gamboa. I was so excited for that Terence Crawford versus Gamboa fight. I knew it was gonna be good. I mean, Gamboa's not fought anybody as good as Crawford, and Crawford has like the potential to be a pound for pound best. But Crawford's into doing stupid shit. Like, the guy hasn't gone out of the hood mentality. Just recently I read that he vandalized some guy's auto body shop because he didn't want to pay the $1,000 that he owed the guy because the guy painted his car, right? Like, bro, you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars at least off HBO fights. Pay your fucking bill. Like, leave the hood, first of all. What are you doing there? Anyway, so I'm disappointed in Crawford. But Crawford proceeded to knock out Gamboa, and that was one of the best fights I've ever seen, honestly. Both fought like crazy, but he knocked him out. And I honestly thought if Gamboa were to lose, he would lose via knockout. That's what I thought. And I go off a tangent so much, but back to it. Lara versus Veins. Lara beat him. It was a boring fight to most, but to me it was, again, a pleasure because it was my 5th streak win, uninterrupted. So I'm a beast when it comes to analyzing fighters and predicting winners. Like, I haven't really betted money on fights yet, but if I were to, I imagine I'd make a pretty good killing off of it. I predicted. If you go back and watch the past video where I talk about Canelo vs. Khan, you'll see that I predicted that Khan would get knocked out in the 6th round, which happened. So I'm a beast. So you guys should keep listening to me on more insights and details. And I appreciate if you guys leave comments. Like, it's just lonely up in here, you know, lonely at the top. I want to bring you guys with me, because you got guys like what's his name, Dante Boxing or whatever, dude. Fuck him. He's living in California, and you got like obviously he's gonna go to Mayweather gym all the time. I mean, that's his life. It's just going to Mayweather's gym and just staying there and filming everybody. That's easy. And then you got Eli Sekback or whatever his name is. Like, guy barely knows anything about boxing. He just goes up to anybody he knows is famous and asks them stupid questions. But again, thank you for tuning in. I love Chocolatito Gonzalez. He's repping Central America as pound for pound best right now. Even Mayweather admits it. So that's good, right? I'm excited for the Keith Thurman versus Sean Porter fight, so keep an eye out for that one. I got Keith Thurman. And yeah, guys, I love you guys. Stay tuned, baby girls. Comment.